Hello my friends, and after a long lull, today we are seeing that good news is becoming more and more frequent. And I'd like to start right away with Crimea, where our units carried out another raid. They managed to cover almost 200 kilometers to Crimea, demonstrating the Russians' inability to prevent our troops from moving by sea. As it appears, after a successful operation, they were able to return safely. This was reported by a representative of the main intelligence directorate. According to him, there was a fierce battle as part of this operation. There have been significant losses among Russian occupiers. There are also losses among our special forces, but they are not comparable to the losses on the Russian side. Additionally, yesterday evening there were explosions in Sevastopol once again. However, late at night, the Russians resumed launching Shakhed drones from the territory of Crimea. Overall, the standoff continues. Meanwhile, there is unrest on Russian territory. Yesterday, several villages in the Kursk region were left without electricity. The Ukrainian side warned the Russians that in case of strikes on Ukrainian energy infrastructure, there would be retaliatory strikes, but it seemed they decided to strike first. In response, from Russian territory, the occupiers shelled Volchansk. But before we move on to the situation on the front line, I kindly ask you to share this video on social media and watch it to the end. It greatly helps promote my channel. Thank you. In the Zaporizhzhia direction, the Ukrainian forces continue their counteroffensive. However, due to the difficulties on the flanks, they are forced to expand their territory of penetration into the Russian defense. Therefore, today the main battle are not in the direction of Cheretovaty, which is a key defense line for the Russians, but in the direction of Kopani. The occupiers attempt counterattacks from different sides daily to pin down our units and prevent them from advancing further. Shelling of Robotyne continues, but there have been no reported changes along the front line. In the Vuhledar direction, the Russians are currently shelling Urozhaine, Staromayorsk, and other settlements. However, their offensive actions haven't been successful. There is no official confirmation of advances by several hundred meters, and there have been no changes along the front line. So far, the Ukrainian forces haven't initiated a counteroffensive, and the situation remains unchanged. In the Kherson direction, there were missile launches from aviation in the vicinity of Berislav yesterday. The Russian forces targeted a hospital and an external aid station in the Kherson region. The fourth floor of the building was completely destroyed. 2 employees were injured, with the ambulance driver suffering a broken leg and head injuries, and a paramedic sustaining a concussion. In the Bakhmut direction, the Ukrainian forces continue to storm Russian positions both near Klyshivka and Andriivka. In some areas, they have managed to cross the railway and break through Russian positions. However, the situation near Klyshivka remains challenging, with the occupiers periodically getting closer to the village. Fierce battles are taking place there, but the Ukrainian forces announced yesterday that they were able to secure the area behind the railway. We are now waiting for confirmation of this information. Additionally, the occupiers intensively shelled both Klyshivka and Andriivka, attempting to inflict maximum damage on our units. There is also an online video from the 3rd Assault Brigade showing a storm in a forest belt.
Ой, там что-то уебало. Пішли? Контроль. Ні, а тільки он напроти цього якраз. О, бач. Справа йде укопчик. Та тут нічого не буде. Крию. Рух. Але акуратно. Нараз, стріляю. Правий фланг підар є, чуєш? Це по нам стріляють, блядь, или що? Ну що, сука. Підар, іди сюди, сука!
The attacks in the rear areas have also intensified. Today we see that the occupiers are targeting Konstantynivka, Chasiv Yar and other populated areas. In the Avdiivka direction, around Avdiivka itself, the occupiers have suffered significant losses. The Ukrainian forces have destroyed all of their wanted Shtorm-Z systems and there have been no advances on their part. Therefore, today they have changed their direction of attack and are attempting to break through to Pervomaisk. However, there have been no changes in the situation in the past day and the Ukrainian forces are successfully holding their defense. Battles continue in Mariinka and near Krasnohorivka. Here, as before, the Russians conduct around 10 attacks per day in the area. However, none of them have been successful and the front line remains unchanged. Meanwhile, Rheinmetall has delivered additional SurveilSpire drone detection and countermeasure systems to Ukraine. The company stated that the order for Ukraine was paid for by the German government. SurveilSpire is designed for reconnaissance and countering enemy drones. The reconnaissance systems consist of mobile observation towers with day and night surveillance cameras, autonomous drones, and a control system. Deploying the system only requires 3 personnel. The system transmits video to a mobile command center using wireless network like 4G or Starlink. This system also includes autonomous reconnaissance drones capable of performing patrol flights. So, as we can see, Ukraine's armament is growing and President Biden has already made remarks regarding Abrams tanks for Ukraine.
We can support Ukraine in the next tranche that we need, and there is another means by which we may be able to find funding for that, but I'm not going to get into that now.
Mr. President, have you promised President Zelensky attackants for Ukraine?
Say again, I'm sorry?
Have you promised President Zelensky during his visit in the White House that you would provide attackants, the long-range missiles for Ukraine?
I have spoken with Zelensky, and everything he's asked for, we've worked out.
Mr. President.
Also, satellite images from October 1st have emerged on the internet indicating that 14 ships from the Russian Black Sea Fleet have been transferred from the annexed Sevastopol to Novorossiysk in the Krasnodar Krai of Russia. According to American OSINT researcher M.T. Anderson on Twitter, citing satellite data, the transfer to Novorossiysk included 2 Project 11-35-6 frigates, Admiral Essen and Admiral Makarov, 3 diesel submarines, 5 large landing ships, and several small missile ships. So, that's all from me. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to stay updated on all the latest news. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.